Yo, yo, yo. We're ready to get right into it. Let's go.
It is something that has permeated throughout the NBA for quite some time. Don't talk to me about nepotism being something new. It's been here.
The whole rags to riches thing, actually, it's been done for a while because the cost of AAU high school sports rec leagues is like $700 to $1,500.
Kobe, you've been pretty critical of the AAU system and the way American players are brought up.
Not pretty critical. I'm extremely critical. I hate it.
Hate AAU basketball. I'm gonna leave it at that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate AAU basketball. I think it exploits these kids.
Close to 30% of the league of players born outside the United States. It's clear that the development is very different in many of those programs outside the United States.
But what you're seeing is the players that can afford to be there, not the best players. It is likely 80% or higher, easier for someone with means to navigate their way through the system than it is not.
Slowly but surely, we're seeing more juniors in the NBA.
Shareef O'Neal, Scottie Pippen Jr.,
Jackson Jr., Martin Jr.
This, of course, all came to everyone's attention when LeBron James and Jr. ended up on the same team for the first time in NBA history. But this has been happening for a while and will continue to happen more and more often because, well, it was inevitable. I mean, really, wasn't it? LeBron James Jr. went to the #1 prep school in the nation in Sierra Canyon. He was in national headlines, on the national news. I remember seeing him when he was 10 years old. Duke scholarships and everything. After all, it makes sense. If your dad or mom was good at basketball, good enough to make millions of dollars from the game, then naturally the kid would also have a high chance of following in their footsteps. But in that frame of logic, if the wealthy sons of successful pro players are making it to the league more and more often, what does that mean for the quote-unquote trench babies? The kids with hoop dreams that want to make it out. Like Bronny's father or a few of his friends, who, by the way, have sons who have undergone or are currently undergoing the exact same process that Bronny is. Someone made a tweet a few years ago, and while it doesn't ring resoundingly true, it's a fair question to ask. NBA players don't really come from the trenches no more, do they? What's up, y'all? I'm KipKame11, and yes, this is a problem on multiple fronts. Adam Silver, in the ever-neutral grandstanding positions that he takes, which I can critique but never blame him for, made the boldest statement he possibly could on the state of the American youth development system. That is, do better. Now, am I saying that the youth development system in America is absolutely cooked? This isn't soccer, but the point is, it's kind of getting there. I mean, just think about it. These kids get benefits solely due to the fact that their parents are NBA players. I mean, we're talking about private training, private jets, and filling nutritional meals cooked by gourmet chefs. All things that we can't have because we're regular people. Well, unless you've got a subscription with Factor 75. Factor 75 is the sponsor of today's video. They make meeting your nutrition goals easier and a strong one at that, for the best to rise and get a chance, no matter what background their family comes from. I was put onto hoop dreams from one of the researchers I asked to interview for this video. Yeah, I don't know, ball. And that culture of moving your black kid to over an hour away to a white school for them to get a better chance, also known as navigational capital in academic speak, is still prevalent. In that tweet that I showed in the beginning, there was one particular guy who had something to say about NBA players not coming from the trenches no more. And that guy was Donovan Mitchell. In a Players Tribune feature in 2019, Donovan detailed how, in the 3rd grade, he was put into a private school called Greenwich Country Day, one of the best schools in the country, 30 minutes away from where he lived and where he stayed with a host family. He was one of the only black kids at the school, and he says it was a totally different world. To the point, actually, where he told his 9-year-old self that he would buy his mom a house there, which he did. When he got into AAU, he said, he felt bad for his mom and his sister because they would drive me all over New York City and New Jersey on the weekends to play in AAU tournaments. My mom probably put like 500,000 miles in that old Toyota Camry. Donovan definitely didn't have a silver spoon in his mouth growing up, and it was tough for them, especially for his mother, who rose him and his sister all by herself. I didn't understand how much she was sacrificing for us. I'll never forget the time I came back out the car one day to grab something I forgot, and I saw her sitting there in tears, all by herself. We had no idea, but at the time, she was always worried about how she was going to pay the rent that month. Her whole vision was to do whatever it took just to get us to graduate from Country Day. Donovan went to private school from 3rd grade all the way to graduation, and transferred in his junior year of high school to Brewster Academy in New Hampshire, a boarding school that happened to have one of the best basketball programs in the state. Wonder what happened there. Anyways, the point that I'm getting at is that sure, it is possible to make it without having means, but there are infinite commitments that the family has to endure that, for some people, just aren't possible. Donovan came from a single-parent household. and his mom fought tooth and nail for him to get the best possible opportunities. Opportunities that probably wouldn't have come his way if his mom didn't do the impossible. He was a bit of a late bloomer. He wasn't in the top 100 recruits till his junior year. His mom didn't care, really, for him making it to the league. She did it out of her pure dedication and at the expense of her well-being. Is this the right way for a child in the United States of America, the land of freedom, opportunity, and the like, to get a shot at their dream? Oh, of course not. But that's how it is for the children of families that don't have. And while their children may have the latent potential, they aren't able to capitalize because they simply don't have the means. According to a study done by Josh Dubrow, the guy who put me on to Hoop Dreams, among African Americans, a child raised in the lower class family has a decreased likelihood of 37% to become an NBA player than a child raised in middle or upper class families. An analogous figure for whites shows that children from lower class families are even more disadvantaged, decreased likelihood of 75%.
Strength training, now at a new level. Gym Monster 2 is an all-in-one design that...
These guys are Chris Knuster and James Tomset, professors of sociology at Ohio State University, and the authors of a paper about the inherent advantages that children from a higher socioeconomic status receive.
You know, somebody who would be really